shall go on to the end. We shall never surrender. It's a hard thing for me and for anyone, particularly in the West, to think about. The fact that you can send, that 15-year-olds were sent off, 15, 16, 17, however old they were sent off to fight these crazy, horrific wars. You know, it's such a horrible thing to imagine, and the way these kids, in a lot of ways, had their childhoods taken from them and they're forced to grow up so quickly is a very tragic thing. I think something that needs to be treated with a lot of respect and a lot of subtlety, which is what we tried to do, I think, in Dunkirk. It's not an all guns blazing heroic action movie. It's about a retreat with reason, and it's a part of war that people don't really like to mention when they're making films about war. When there's a dialogue heavy script, it makes it easier to find your character because a lot of it is explained in the dialogue. But because there wasn't a whole lot of dialogue and there wasn't any backstory, we weren't given any backstory for the characters, it meant that Chris really took a chance and left it to us to decide on our own characters and really make decisions about how we were going to play it, which was an amazing thing to do. I think for me, I really enjoyed that. So you take them home and take the script home and you just think and decide and make decisions, and you've got to go on. I think when there's such little dialogue, you've got to go on really knowing your character inside out in order to do it justice and to respond to the situation around you, because there's no monologue where you recount your family history. So
yeah, was it awesome to be there filming? And
yeah, it was amazing. I don't think we could have done it anywhere else and done it justice and done it the same as it has turned out. It like added something to it. I don't really know what, but I think it was something to do with how people responded to being in Dunkirk and recognising that it is a town still recovering really in a lot of ways from the impact of the Second World War. So it was really sobering to be there and to witness the monuments and the ruins and take that all in. It definitely affected our performances, I think, and how the film came out as a whole.
Where are we going? Dunkirk.
I'm not going back.
There's no hiding from this, son. We have a job to do.
so your two characters were kind of going out there and sacrificing themselves. I mean, all of you were sacrificing yourselves, but what was it that motivated them to do that?
People say it was a different... People in England, older people, talk a lot about there being much more of a sense of community at that time in England than there is now. Now, like in America, things are more divided. Even when you have a tea break as an actor now, you know, everyone just goes on their phone. Whereas when I began in the profession, a tea break, everyone sat and had a cup of tea and had a chat. So it was a much more united society at that time. And I think if one part of the society, these boys were stuck on the beach, then people felt responsible. Who's going to help them? We have to. So that's why they went across, I think, at that time.
Yeah. What about for your character? Kind of what's his motivation to fight for this?
Well, it's interesting because, and it's alluded to in the film as well, is that they got a bit of stick, the RAF, from those on the beach for not having turned up, you know, but they very much were there, and you know they suffered huge losses, but at the same time they were trying to save you know, a certain amount of aircraft for the inevitable invasion of the UK. So they got a bit of stick for a while. I think they even still do. You know, but I think that it's sometimes just, you know, competitiveness between the forces. But I mean, the RAF pilots, you know, they chose to do that. Yeah. You know, they signed up for that, and because, you know, it was a very specific set of skills you needed. And
they were some of the best in the field, I think.
They certainly were, and they were also, you know, even though they were in charge of Spitfires, they were still some of the youngest, you know, in the armed forces at that time.
How was it actually filming in Dunkirk?
There was a moment when we passed this boat and Chris asked all the people on the boat to look at us, and that was just like, you know, that's when I got a sense of like, these men all have families at home, kids, and you know, it's...
When you read about it too, the soldiers, you don't see them in the film, but there are soldiers creating a 5-mile barrier and protecting the 400,000 there, and that fighting is so fierce and violent. And then you've got all these men looking at that view you've got behind you there, and knowing that home is just there, you know, and you think, well, surely I could swim it. It can't, how can it be that I can't get back? And as this 5 mile thing is coming down, it was very frightening and evocative to think of that situation.
Where's the bloody Air Force?